seat, the cards are flying high. Shuffle up and deal, let the aces lie. Longest running show, yeah, we've seen it all. From the river to the rail, we answer the call.
Hello, A-Team, and welcome back to another episode of the Ante Up Poker Podcast, where every hand is an opportunity, every player is a friend, and every episode is a winning experience. I'm your host, Joe Scales, and as you know, we were out in Arizona for the last 10 days covering the Ante Up Poker Tour stop, and while we were there, we made a very conscious decision to really focus on the players and everything happening in the room. Then when we got back, we ran into a little bit of a bump in the road. So we're a little late getting this episode out. This week, we're going to revisit a past hand of the week and call the floor situation. And honestly, with the uptick in listeners we've had recently, these are some great ones to bring back. Perfect if you're new to the show and still worth another listen, even if you've heard them before. And don't worry, we've still got a brand new table talk and a fresh one-outer coming your way. One last thing. You've heard us talk about Camp One Step before. Their poker tournament is April 16th, and there are still spaces to play if you're in the Chicagoland area. The grand prize is a $10,000 seat to the main event, but they're also looking for some dealers. So if you're interested in doing that, contact Hannah. Her email is hsmith@camponestep.org. It's one of our favorite charities, and the charity tournament, this sends kids with cancer and their families to camp. So check this out. It's another great episode for you guys, and that's all I've got for now. So let's get on with the show.
Welcome to the show, you're on the A-team. Stack your chips and chase the dream. Joe's got the booth, his mic's on fire. Elle's got the laugh, she's taking it higher.
Elle and I are back around the poker table
On Saturday.
with another dog.
Yeah. We have an extra set of 4 paws in our house. It's been quite the 72 hours. We have had an incredible, we've had an awesome 10 days in Arizona,
Right.
and have found out we've aged to the point where a red-eye flight might not be our jam anymore. I felt like I'd pulled an all-nighter like I was in college. If I don't have a lot of pep in my step, I'm going to ask for a little grace. And also, it's a hat day. Thank you, Lone Butte, for the new gear. I think we just got hit with life.
Yeah.
Is all I'm going to say. We are human, just like you all listening. And sometimes your life doesn't always... It's full of surprises. There's some twists and turns that you just don't anticipate happening. So we came home, had Zombie Thursday, Friday.
We did still play the Patreon game.
We did, and we're going to chat about that. That was really fun, actually.
It was.
And then Friday afternoon, got an unexpected phone call. My stepmother fell in her front yard. My father was out on a motorcycle ride, and thank God for neighbors who stop when they think something might be wrong.
Right.
So my stepmom has double knee replacements and has been working a little bit on her balance lately. And she fell and broke her femur that's attached to one of her knee replacements. So we've spent quite the amount of time in the emergency room and the ambulance, all sorts of things in the last 24 hours.
She had surgery this morning.
She did. Phenomenal surgeon, amazing trauma team. And I mean, it just makes you pause. So the good news is surgery's great. She's just going to have a long recovery. The surgeon kind of set expectations that it's going to be a little while.
Yeah.
So we have 4 new paws in the house for a little bit from my parents and an aunt visiting and just all sorts of things happening. So,
Right.
anyhow,
So because of that, the
we're a little
podcast
late.
the podcast is coming out on a Saturday. So we still have a lot of things happening, a lot of things to talk about, and we want to get that news out as well.
ESPN, let's go.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, let's just right out the gate. Everybody's excited, and poker is going home.
Yeah,
think,
exactly.
right?
That's exactly what I feel like. It's back home. It's like when your kids move away and come home to visit. This is
That's how you feel?
yeah. I mean, if
Oh,
you think about ESPN used to air, we grew up watching ESPN air the World Series
that's fair. You
for
did.
decades.
Yeah.
Decades. The 80s, 90s, 2000s. 2021 it switched. And so, we grew up watching it at 2 a.m. You would go out to the bar and it would be on the TV.
That's true.
So, it wasn't just coverage. It was where poker became poker for a lot of us.
Yeah.
That's what gave us the itch to go, hey, let's play some cards with our friends and let's, buy that $20 set of chips from Walmart or whatever. And so I feel like this is kind of a full circle moment for us longtime players.
Yeah, but also what an awesome opportunity for the game to be seen by so many more now.
Exactly.
And I think that is going to be the big appeal, or that's where I am feeling and seeing and hearing the big excitement.
Yes. Yeah,
it
exactly.
is back on a major network where all eyeballs are able to access.
Yeah,
which is super exciting.
There's going to be like over 100 hours of coverage
Of the
main
WSOP.
event. The main event, yeah. And they're going to have 3 simultaneous feature tables. They're going to have the coverage start on July 2nd, which is day
okay.
1A.
Okay.
And then they'll run up until we get to the final table, take a little bit of a pause, come back on August 3rd, and then August 3rd through the 5th, it'll be the live final table. So,
mainstream exposure.
Yeah.
It's all coming back.
Is it going to create like the big poker boom like we had after Moneymaker 1? I wouldn't say that, but it is going to give some exposure that's been missing for a while.
Yeah, so I'll be curious to see what the commercials are. I'll also be curious to see if there'll be new sponsorships. That always just brings more things to the table when you're on a network that is as widely known, well respected. And I'm also curious to see if there's going to be new commentary. If there's going to be any new faces or old voices or people that you're used to seeing and hearing.
Yeah.
It'd be really cool to have some folks from sports come over.
That would be fun. That would be a lot of fun.
That's my thought.
Then in less exciting news than that, the lodge is not going to be opening anytime soon.
Yeah. Closed indefinitely, which is like devastating to the 200 plus employees that were there.
The raid happened on March 10th. And so this has been going on for a while. And I know we've talked about it every week since, but
well, it's on everybody's mind and everybody's radar. And people are trying to fill in the blanks.
Yeah.
What they've been doing.
According to the search warrant, they were investigating allegations of money laundering and illegal gambling. So
right. They could potentially reopen. It's just not ideal, and it has not been recommended because they could still make further arrests or further seizures. So it's best for everyone really involved for them to remain closed for the time being and for this foreseeable future. I know this is rattling. It's like an earthquake through Texas. Like, what's going to happen? Does this mean other things for other poker rooms? Sometimes, you probably heard me say this once or twice. Like, it feels like somebody's out to get the lodge. We don't know. Everybody's speculating because we're not the ones directly involved. We can't have conversation with law enforcement.
There's a lot of speculation out there, right? No charges have actually been filed, which makes this even more interesting.
Right.
Chad Holloway had a big post on X, and he actually did his segment on Poker News podcast about his theory of it, which is really interesting. So, his thought is this is more of not having them fill out the proper forms, because if someone withdraws or deposits over $10,000, 10,000 or more dollars, then there has to be forms that are filled out. And
So it could just be as simple as that.
it could be, but if that is the case, that's still a serious crime to some degree.
Wow.
So it would be enough to probably shut them down permanently. I don't know. All of that is speculation. All of that is, up in the air. Nobody knows what is going to happen. But the bottom line is, these 200 plus workers that worked there, dependent on this for their livelihood, they're out of a job right now. And so
Right.
that's unfortunate. I know that someone started a GoFundMe for them. I'm sure that they will find work somewhere else as well. But
Well, and if you hear of other ways that people can get involved in supporting these folks until they get back on their feet, I think we've all been in a position where either we've been in a moment of transition or a moment of questioning or leaving one job, starting another. I mean, we're going through a family health event that
right,
causes, more needs than were yesterday. So, if you're listening and you know of a way that we can support those folks, or there's always grassroots something, but it's got to be shared. So, we'd love to know what that is, and if there's any way we can share that information with others, we'd love to do that as well.
yeah,
I think the whole poker community, there's those out there that just want the gossip. There's those out there that just wanna get it resolved, and I think the majority of us are like, we just feel for them,
yeah,
right? And I also am like, gosh, it's like another hit to
reputation,
yeah.
yeah,
And there are so many great card rooms in Texas, and there are people that we know that play in them, and there are people that have played at the lodge and gone like, I have never experienced anything like that there,
right,
and I don't even know how they could possibly even remotely have found fault. So it's a difficult situation all around, and really our hearts just go out to them, and we hope they get some resolution soon.
yeah. And it's not just the people that work there. Like, there's a lot of players that have
Right,
chips that they
right,
right now are wondering how they can get those cashed in. So
yeah.
it's a mess, but I feel confident it's going to get sorted out at some point.
It's just
Um,
gonna be stuck
it,
in a
it
holding pattern for a little while.
yeah, yeah. They've already had to cancel a major event there. So
Of course.
this is this may not be a story about the lodge. It may be a story about Texas poker.
We'll see.
And see how this shakes out for all of those other places, for sure.
Yeah.
While things are uncertain in Texas,
Yeah.
over at Gila River in Lone Butte, poker is alive.
Yeah. You can say that again. We may not have the most enthusiasm in our voice or pep in our step this week, but let me just tell you, the last 2 weeks has been amazing.
Yeah.
And Tia runs a awesome ship.
Yeah.
I don't have the right even descriptor. I cannot even begin to tell you, finding out, what Brownie shared with us last week, and how she's really changed poker in the Valley there in Phoenix. And then also just experiencing a well-run room from the top down. Everybody's working together.
Right.
Service, the floor, the dealers, the check-in desk, like you name it, security. I don't know how many times they came and changed those boxes.
Right.
I was just in awe of that system because I'm not seeing that in a
I had
casino
not seen
either.
that done the way
So,
they do it. Yeah.
Yeah, I was just very impressed with how everybody works together. The whole ecosystem of the room, the acoustics,
Yeah.
the tables, the way everything's run, the way things are cleaned up. I mean, it was just fantastic. I really can't even say enough about what we experienced.
Well, let's talk about this picture that's behind us.
Oh,
here.
deeper. Let me just say, I am super proud to announce that we had a female take down the entire main event, who satellited in,
yeah.
and was short stacked. Actually, the top three were short stacked for quite some time and came back. So it was a very exciting tournament, very well run tournament. And that's all we heard from players too, is that they really appreciated the structure, they appreciated the time of starts, and they appreciated how it was run. So could not be happier with that overall finish. I think this is the biggest score of her career.
According to Hindemov, this is their biggest one.
Yeah, and I'm feeling it ain't stopping here.
Oh, no.
She's on a roll. She's on vacation right now.
She
Good
is.
for her. She had already planned a vacation and was heading out of town shortly after. You'll see her on the cover of April's magazine, but massive shout out to Deepa Shah and how you conducted your play and you played your game and you stayed strong and you stayed confident and you played your game.
Right.
Really and truly. I just was most impressed with her.
And then Dominic Brazier.
Yes.
He finished second. He was holding on, man.
4 bigs.
He had
4 bigs left. And his facial expressions, I have so many pictures of him.
Yeah.
His facial expressions were hilarious. I don't even think he knows. Like, I don't even know either when I'm so animated. But his thoughtfulness in some moments. I just enjoyed watching him play too. I think he and Deepa play pretty frequently together.
They do.
They were friendly. They were still competitive.
Right.
Let me just tell you, still competitive.
And then Sammy Maida, he finished in third. He had a bigger stack than Dominic did, but ended up getting in a big hand with Deepa.
Right.
And
made a big call there.
Yeah.
It cost him second place, but really also enjoyed watching him play. And then Stephen Jones made it to final table. He came in fourth runner. He's the runner up of 2023 main event. We were actually there.
Yeah.
So it was really neat to see him. And he, he's always a riot to watch as well.
And then he was also made a big run on the Netflix Squid Game.
Steven?
Yeah.
That's really cool to watch all of that go down too. So I think we're going to need to check that out. We haven't watched it, but I thought it was neat to watch it unfold, at least on socials, and see all that come to light.
And it was also good to catch up with Jordan Griff.
I loved him just walking in, playing with everybody else, catching up, checking in to see how his son was.
Yeah. He was super just chill, just the same as he was when he was on the magazine in 2025.
Same as he was when he was runner up.
Oh yeah. He just kind of
same guy all the time.
Level, It's good seeing people that we've had on the cover and seeing players that we meet in these tour stops in other places and being able to catch up with them too. So that was fun. The whole room was filled with
characters.
Yeah. Genuinely good people, but fun characters.
Who, let me tell you, are committed to the Arizona Championship, because I don't know how many people we invited to join us on the cruise. You know me, can't stop, won't stop talking about that cruise. But nobody from Arizona is coming on that cruise because they all are going to be at the Arizona State
Poker Championship.
Yes. And I just love how committed they are to that event.
Yeah.
I mean, it didn't matter who I asked. A 1-2 player or somebody in the main event. They were like, "Oh no, plans. We have that week planned." And I was like, "Oh,
that is true. It is true." So the big question on everybody's mind, I'm sure, are your hands sore from all those patches that you were pressing onto the hats and shirts?
No, but it was very funny to be on display. I felt like I was a little spectacle in the poker room, which I'm fine with having conversations with anybody. However, I just want to apologize to any dealers or players where your play slowed down, because every time I brought out that hat press, people just would stop and stare, and I'd be like, I'm just making hats over here. I'm just pressing patches on hats.
It's also kind of funny
and
to
it
watch.
was so fun
because you watch them watch the whole process, and then they'll kind of mosey over and be like, so what's going on here?
Yeah. Yeah.
What can I get? What are you giving away?
Yeah. And if you're not sure what we're talking about, if you haven't seen it on socials yet, we ordered some new patches, and then I ordered a hat press and blank hats. So we had bucket hats, we had baseball hats. We now have learned that we need trucker hats. I'm trying to get into this flat bill thing. I don't know. We'll see if it's my persona or not. But people were bringing hats in. So I pressed, I think, close to 90 custom shirts and hats while we were there. And if you are at a tour stop in 2026, expect more of that, because it was super fun. If you have something of your own that you want me to put a patch on, I'm happy to do that. But I just had fun. That was that. I felt like I was in my element of creating, but also being in the poker room. And so
It was really
more
fun.
to come. More to come.
It was really fun, and it was fun to see a room full of our logo.
Yeah. Yeah. So custom hat bar,
Like this
shirt
one
bar,
right here.
jackets. Yes. There's
It-
one on Deepa for sure. So more to come on that.
And then we mentioned we took that overnight trip back home, and then later that evening had to play the 8-game mix Patreon game, which I had no thoughts about going deep on that, because I was like, I'm tired. It's probably going to be bad decision after bad decision. We actually, both of us played pretty well.
Yeah, I didn't get on the leaderboard, which that was my goal, and I really shoved too hard in a spot, in a position that I should not have. But I thought I played all 8 okay.
Yeah. Yeah. You really, your game has really improved to where you're not as intimidated by a lot of these mixed games. So
Right.
kudos for that.
Wish that had happened at the cash table in Arizona.
Yeah, but we had a great time. I always say this in the Discord. Like, when we play those mixed games, the Discord chat
It's so quiet.
is so much
because
quieter.
we all have to concentrate way more than we normally would when we just play No Limit.
Yeah. So, but we do have to say congrats to What's Up Doc for taking it down.
Who always takes it down when it's like 2 a.m.
Yeah.
I bowed out. I was so tired. I was like, I am going to bed. So
yeah.
Congratulations to all of you all who stayed up late until 2 Eastern a.m.
Yeah. By the time I made it to bed, it was 2:00.
So it was What's Up Doc, Chopper.
Yeah, Bob Chopper, who didn't chop. So
Well, kudos to him for that as well. And then was it you?
and then I was third. Yeah.
Who took the bounty?
And Goddard took the bounty. So
Nice.
congrats to him.
The bullseye's on What's Up Doc for the mixed game next
for the
month.
mixed game. He had the record for the longest, and then he breaks his record by this one. So What's Up Doc is
Committed
yeah, committed to the long ones.
to the long game, not the short game, the long game.
Exactly. Goddard, by the way, you mentioned him getting the bounty. He was doing a really good job of isolating the bounty. So whenever the bounty was in there, USC 1991, whenever he was in there, Goddard would raise and try and get him alone. But I tried not to let it happen too much, but sometimes you don't have the guards to. You can't do it with 7 deuce or whatever.
Right.
But he ended up getting the bounty, so that was awesome. We've still got to get next month's schedule.
Yeah.
So we've got to look at the calendar and get that done. But yeah, other than that, I'm glad to be home, but I'm already looking forward to August and getting on that cruise ship.
Yes.
And hopefully
and possibly some others in between. We'll see. We still have some conversations to be had, but Arizona's got my heart right now. Let me tell you.
Oh, 100%.
My ankle didn't hurt. My allergies didn't bother me. My skin wasn't cracking.
The sunsets were amazing.
The heat, the food.
Yeah.
Heart
Yeah.
for some Arizona. Let me just tell you. So we would love to be back.
Yes. Yes, I want to make that a stop every year if we can.
Well, and Arizona poker is a charming community.
Yes.
I think we both commented just being able to see how the game is played, even just in the US, worldwide. And that's like opening the door now for me to be like, okay, Europe, I would like to see Europe. I would like to see how it's played in Asia. I would like to
Yeah.
see, I am so curious because the game is still the game. The TDA rules are still following the game. Most anywhere you play.
Sure.
Thank you, microphone man, for doing the hard work. So quite honestly, like the hard work that was put in by those 4 founders, Jan Fisher,
Yep.
Linda Johnson, Matt Savage, David Lamb. Let me just tell you, the hard work and effort, it is not glamorous. It is minutia, detail, paying attention, advocating, education, working hard, the effort that those 4 that laid the foundation for now is just phenomenal. But I am really intrigued and I'm loving seeing how people compose themselves, but also the communities they build
Right.
around the game.
And just to your point, it's not just in the US. Like the TDA has been going out because as part of the World Poker Federation has been going
Absolutely.
out to these other countries and
Educating.
getting things set up for the TDA there as well. So
Right.
the work continues.
Absolutely. It's not done yet. And
Yeah.
I think they have their sights set high and the determination and the foundation is there. And so all I can say is the little bit, that's what I'm trying to get across is the little bit that we've been able to see and that we've been fortunate to see as our tour has come back has just blown me away. It's knocked
Yeah.
my socks off and the amount that people study and are aware. I learn something new everywhere we go. And so we've come home to not what we anticipated life-wise, but like a full heart and still excitement for the next place.
Right. And I know we're going to have Dustin on next week to talk about, some stuff
Absolutely,
with
yeah.
that they have coming up and whatever. But I also saw, and I just want to shout out this, April is Poker Player Appreciation Month there in Schenectady, New York. And
At the
so
Rivers Casino.
if you are playing in Rivers in Schenectady, you have free drinks.
What drinks are you talking about?
Beer, mixed drinks,
What?
cocktails. Yeah. So,
The cat's out of the bag. I need to go call Junior, Senior, whatever his name is. What's that guy's name? Oh man.
yes. So
I got to give them a shout
Yeah.
and say, have some for me. Cool. Nice.
yeah. So that is a high note to end on. We'll talk more about that with Dustin next week. But other than that, as always, it's a pleasure being around this table with you.
Likewise.
Elliot's wisdom cuts like a blade, dropping true bombs with a poker parade. Big blinds, big stakes, raise it up, let's make no mistake.
Elliot Schechter joins us each week to say how he would rule in situations that come up in your games, and he's with us again this week. Elliot, how are you?
I'm doing pretty well, thanks. Things are good. How you doing today, Joe?
I'm good. I notice you're sporting the Ante Up wear there.
Absolutely.
So I like it.
Thank you. Me too.
And if anyone wants some Ante Up gear, then go to our shop on anteupmagazine.com. So there you go. There's the plug.
Glad to hear.
Yeah, we've got a call the floor this week that's sent in by David Musselwhite. And the setup is pretty long. So if you have some points in here that you want to throw in along the way, just interrupt and we'll throw them in there as we go. But David is playing 1-3, no limit hold'em. He's 8-handed. Made it to the river, heads up. The players in seat 1 and seat 8 are heads up in the hand. Now the player in seat 8 is wearing earbuds in both of his ears. The river brought in the flush draw and it paired the board. Seat 1 bets, Seat 8 raises. Seat 1 tanks, then tells the dealer 100 on top. He doesn't say whether he put more chips in there, if he just said it, but
Right.
I'm assuming he put something in there. And now it's back on seat 8, who takes out his earbuds, asks the dealer what's going on. The dealer tells him that seat 1 has raised it another 100. Seat 8 then puts his earbuds back in and tanks for a bit. Eventually, he mumbles something. I'm in seat 3 and didn't hear what he said. The dealer announces fold, but seat 8 just kind of sits there holding his cards, and the dealer motions for him to muck his hand. Seat 8 finally flips his hand over and tables it, showing the ace-high flush. The dealer then picks up seat 8's hand, mucks it, and then begins pushing the pot to seat 1.
All right. Before you say another word, the dealer motioning to the player in seat 8 could be signifying to the player in seat 8 that the action is over. It's your turn to show. What do you want to do? It's up to you.
Right.
I can see that happening.
For
so
sure.
the pot getting pushed here doesn't make a whole lot of sense just yet, especially after seat 8 tabled his hand.
Right. And it makes sense from here why there's the confusion.
Yeah.
Because he says, here's where the drama starts. Seat 1 and seat 2 both look surprised.
And this is where the floor
Seat
needs to be
1
called,
says,
as the pot hasn't been fully pushed yet.
yes. Seat 1 says to seat 2, I can't believe that he folded the nut flush. Meanwhile, seat 8 asks the dealer what seat 1 had. The dealer says he didn't show. And of course, seat 8 asks, well, then why are you giving him the pot? The dealer says, you folded, he doesn't have to show. To which seat 8 yells, I didn't fold, I called, and you took my hand and mucked it. The dealer says, I heard you say fold. Seat 8 argues, no, I said call. And that's when the dealer calls the floor.
Better late than never.
The floor comes over. Well, yeah. The floor comes over and the dealer explains the situation, tries to get one of the players at the table to say they also heard seat 8 say fold. The player in seat 4 says he heard seat 8 call.
Of course.
Me in seat 3. So seat 3 and the player in seat 5 both say we didn't hear him. Seat 2 said he thought seat 8 folded because he never made a calling motion.
I don't know what a calling
Not sure what
motion
that is. The floor decides that this was above his pay grade and went to get a more senior floor.
Sounds like a good idea.
Yeah. The second floor goes to the camera and comes back a couple of minutes later. He says seat 8 was the aggressor, and since he tabled his hand, it's clear he was wanting to call, so he wins the pot. Now,
Okay.
seat 1 is upset.
Sure.
He says his face is turned red, and he's shouting, but the dealer said he folded.
Okay.
Now,
What, the dealer's not allowed to make mistakes ever? The dealer's infallible? What the dealer says goes? That
right.
doesn't make sense to me at all either.
Right. And seat 1 apparently admitted at some point to having a flush,
Well,
so he
very
would have
likely had
lost.
the losing hand.
Yeah. So he says at this point there's a crowd starting to gather, including seat 1's girlfriend, who is putting in her 2 cents, even though she is not even, she
Right.
wasn't even near the
Assistance
table
from the
when
rail.
the
I
hand
love
went down. C2 suggests that they just chop the pot to be fair.
This is not C2's business.
Right. Now a third floor comes over, unless the second floor leave, because, he's getting pretty heated.
Sounds like a
at
really
this
big
point
room.
with seat 1. Yeah, they've got numerous floors for sure working this. The third floor decides to chop the pot.
Okay.
I love that reaction. Both seat 1 and seat 8 rack up their chips and leave in a huff. Seat 8 tells the dealer, "I blame you. This is your fault," which the dealer graciously accepts blame.
It's not 100% his fault.
Right.
Not even close.
So David says my personal thoughts are that clearly seat 1 had the losing hand, since his whole argument was that the dealer said seat 8 folds.
That is correct.
Action should not let him win a pot he had no right to.
Well, I think by action, he means other people's actions or mistakes.
Right. I
Mainly the
also feel
dealers.
that seat 8 putting his headphones back in while on the river in a big spot was unwise.
Ah,
I would think you would want to hear everything.
yes. Now we're getting to one of the running themes on Call the Floor is protect your hand and pay attention and don't do stupid stuff while you're in the
Right.
hand. So seat 8 is
Right.
guilty of a number of these things.
Exactly. He said he does say chopping the pot felt wrong, but I understand just wanting to calm everything down. But at the same time, that rewards seat 1 for making a scene.
Well, not just that.
Can't wait to hear. Yeah, it's true. He says, can't wait to hear your thoughts on the matter. So,
Well, this is a long post, so I'll have a few thoughts. I'll work my way backwards. Chopping the pot can only be a suggestion on the part of the operator, the floor, the person making the decision. That money doesn't belong to the casino in any way. That money belongs to the players. We can suggest chopping to the pot, but when we make a decision, we have to make a definitive decision. We have to actually decide. We can't just punt all the time. This is not a court of law. This is a hand of poker, and we have to do something. We have to actually decide. Yeah, chopping the pot here is maybe not the worst suggestion, but we can't just dictate and demand that the pot be chopped. We're not in the game. We merely collect payment for the providing of the game. Big difference. So while we're relied upon for expertise and fairness, we can't make a decision that literally divides up people's money. That's the opposite of what we should do.
yeah.
So then we have to go back a little bit further and to the result. Let's go to the end of the hand when seed 8 didn't know what was happening and very correctly removed their headphones and asked, "Well done." It then occurs to this player to immediately replace their earbuds and go on as if everything's hunky dory, when that's not a great assumption. uh,
Apparently not.
I'm not a big fan of rewarding people for not paying attention and not protecting themselves, but apparently C1 didn't really have much of a claim on this pot. Seed 8 obviously thought they were intelligible when they were not. Obviously thought that their stopping and asking what was going on was enough to protect themselves when they really only made it halfway across the road. They pressed the button to activate the crosswalk. They got into the crosswalk, and then when it started blinking red, instead of hurrying up to the other side, they decided to just wait. So they're not particularly effective there. And I don't like rewarding players for not paying attention. But more than that, I like the best hand at the showdown to get the money.
Right.
There's no definitive proof that this player decided to fold to that raise, even though with the board pairing, it's not out of the realm of possibility. Although in a 1-3 game, it's certainly incredibly uncommon at best. I'm not awarding seat 1 the pot based on the technicality of the dealer announcing fold and taking seat 8's cards, while seat 8 was obviously incredulous and rather shocked. The dealer's unable to discern what was happening should have been the time to stop the game and say, "What are you doing?" If they thought they were folding and then they started pushing pot, seat 8 immediately spoke up and said, "What are you doing?" That's the time to call the floor right there, not to wait a few seconds or a few minutes or however moments it took to actually get to that point.
Yeah.
These are some of the worst judgment calls we've got to make as floors, as operators, as poker room managers. They're never easy. And again, it's what we're paid to do. We've got to make a judgment call. The judgment is just not to have no action. If we let every dealer error decide the outcome of a pot, well, then number one, players would obviously not be thrilled knowing that they were not in control of their destiny when that's exactly what you play poker for. But number two, and I had this discussion with one of my colleagues just recently about a similar but not identical situation in which a dealer error would lead to either no action or splitting of a pot. And I made the point, which he didn't refute, that if we allow ourselves to base our outcomes on a dealer mistake, so say we actually miss dealing, giving the money back, which is virtually identical to splitting the pot, then it occurs to me that a lot of dealers, and I'm not trying to disparage my colleagues and dealers in the industry, but as dealers keep their own tips and they're definitely motivated by generating income in every possible moment they're dealing, it would occur to me that dealers would make mistakes in pots where the only players who are going to win are players that do not tip them, therefore negating the outcome, putting the money back, and starting a new hand where they have a much better probability of getting a tip. That opportunity should not be allowed. It should not be possible and should
Right.
not be affected and made real by our decisions.
I guess the thing that bothers me with seat 8 is, and this is probably what the person was saying about calling action. Throw a chip in, like call, throw a chip in, and then you obviously were making your intention clear.
Well, and
I mean, you might have wanted to raise, but you definitely are putting money in.
seat 8 is under the impression that they said call clearly enough that they didn't need to move a chip, which is not 100% correct in any spot. You should always move some or all chips forward when calling a bet. Verbal action in turn is binding, but when it's unverifiable, you're in a whole mess of of things, and
Yeah.
many things like this can happen. So yes, seat 8 did not fully protect their hand, did not fully protect their place in the betting order, was not paying attention, and obviously did not make their intentions clear. So yeah, seat 8 shoulders some blame here. That doesn't
Yeah, for
mean
sure.
that they lose their claim on the pot.
Right.
We don't have to allow technicalities. Once again, this is not a court of law. This is poker. And when all is said and done, when the action is over, the best hand's still supposed to get the money. Now, if there's a bet and no call, which seat 1 is trying to prove, then yeah, well, all is said and done. We're not entirely clear on that here. And if this continues to happen every single time seat 8 is in the pot, the seat 8 is going to lose both the benefit of the doubt and likely the ability to play in the game. But in this instance, I'm not moving the pot away from seat 8. It's still, while not an outcome that thoroughly agrees with my views on player behavior and player comportment, is still the best possible outcome in these circumstances.
Yeah. We've talked about that numerous times, where we want the person that actually had the best hand to get the pot. It
Yes.
sounds like seat 1 admitted at some point that he had a flush, which means if you had the flush, you had a lesser flush because he had the nut flush. A seat 8 did. So, you know, the if he wouldn't have admitted that he had a flush there, then we don't know,
Well,
because
and I'm not
we're in
so
a
sure about
situation
that.
where
I'll leave that to the other contributors who actually delve into the playing and contents of hands to weigh in on that. But even without knowing the contents of that particular hand, it still seems fairly obvious from the narrative that they were trying to use the rules of the game to win the pot, as opposed to, the betting and showing of hands to win the pot, which is not the way the game is
Right.
supposed to come to the players.
Yeah, I don't
Unless there's
think that
no
that
other
is
way to
ever
make a ruling, I'm not going to use the technical rules to award chips.
I don't think that's ever gonna be a good argument to get the pot, But at the same time, if there's a situation where you just don't know what seat one has because you handed your cards off as the dealer was pushing the pot to you, well, now it's like, well, my cards are somewhere in that deck, and
Right.
now you can't just say, well, dig my cards out, because obviously that's not going to be acceptable either. So
Shouldn't be.
it's a mess. The whole thing is a mess, and everybody contributed.
Yep, everybody
Seat
played a
1
part here.
contributed, seat 8 contributed, and the dealer.
Yes, quite. It was shared, that's for sure.
Yeah, and then to make matters worse, the floor, they had 3 people come over, and none of them seemed to take control for sure.
Well, a second
It's
floor
kinda
guy
one of
tried to
those
make the
situations.
decision, but once they appealed and he granted the appeal, we were in trouble. Seat 1 punted. I mean, floor 1 punted. Floor 1 said, I got no
Yeah,
way to solve this. I'm getting somebody else. The second floor guy
which
made
is
a
fair.
decision, and at some point they didn't accept it, and he brought a third guy. It's like, most rule sets uh, expressly state that the floor person's decision is final and binding. This is not a court of law where there are one or more appeals available if the result is not liked or desired. They made a decision. They absolutely made a
Yeah,
decision, and they didn't just pull it out of a hat. They went to surveillance and
yeah,
watched the footage of the hand. They relied on not only player statements and the dealer statement and whatever the first floor observed, but they went to surveillance for confirmation and mulled this over. It should have ended
yeah,
there. I appreciate the fact that if an egregious error is made, you want to appeal, and sometimes you have to. You have to jump up and down. You have to make sure that nothing happens until somebody makes a fair ruling. Uh, how do you prove that the second guy, the second floor, who absolutely made a ruling after checking surveillance, how do you know that was unfair? They weighed as much evidence as possible and made a final ruling. It should have been final right there.
right.
I mean, if it's egregiously incorrect and the whole table is just about unanimous in disliking the decision and disagreeing with it, that's one thing. But here, we had players next to each other, seats 3 and 4, who couldn't even agree on what the hell was going on. The floor stepped in to
Yeah,
make the decision, as is their job. At some point, you got to accept it. And at some point, as the floor, and now I'm speaking to my colleagues, you got to put your foot down and say, this decision's been made. If you need to discuss this further, let's get off the table and have a discussion. But we're done.
yeah, and I like what to kind of bring it full circle, I like what you were saying at the your very first point. You, as the floor, cannot actually chop the pot. You can suggest that that is what we do, but in this kind of a situation, you have to make a definitive decision. So that, I feel like, chopping the pot thing was kind of a cop out to some degree,
It's
to
exactly what
try
it
and
was.
appease everyone.
And you can't.
And by appeasing and by trying to appease everyone, you appeased no one. You
They
made
both got
everyone
up.
angry.
You lost.
Yeah.
You lost 1/4 of the game. You literally lost 25% of your seeded players because of this decision. Not to mention the amount of hands you lost not
Yeah.
dealing because you were waiting to make this decision. So yeah,
Yeah.
chopping the pot here didn't help you. Again, if you move the pot in one direction or the other, you're losing very likely one player or the other, which is one entire player less than the amount of players you lost. It is 50% less players you lost, and 50% less players dissatisfied, and hopefully coming back. So yeah, again, you got to make a decision. You got to stick to it. You got to explain it. You got to be fair about it. That doesn't mean you can't offer number one, a chance for them to be heard, and number two, other forms of remuneration. I mean, whether you comp them to a dinner or a hotel room or something, some
Mhm.
way to show appreciation. But yeah, you got to make a decision, and you got to sometimes hang on for dear life.
Yeah. Well, David, when you sent this in, you said here was a big one, and you're right. This was a big one. There was a lot of blame to be handed out in this one, and
Yeah,
it doesn't sound like we ended up with the right answer either,
I'm
which
not
is
so sure.
unfortunate.
No.
So,
We did have an Oprah level
um,
distribution of blame. You get some blame, and you get some blame, and you get some blame. Yeah, it
yeah,
was pretty impressive.
yeah. But I appreciate you sending that in. And if anyone has a call the floor that they would like to know how Elliot would rule, send
Please
it to
do.
podcast@anteupmagazine.com. Elliot, thanks again for the insight.
You're welcome. This was a good one.
And
Thanks.
yeah, and we'll see you next week.
Looking forward to it.
Patrick's a fish, but he's learning fast. He's all in this hand, might be his last.
Welcome to Hand of the Week, where Patrick, our resident fish, and I dive into listener-submitted hands. Each week, we tackle everything from questionable bluffs to hero calls and the hands that make you scratch your head. Whether you're looking for strategy tips or you just want to see if you would have played it any better, we've got you covered. Patrick, how's it going?
We're back, my friend. I'm good. How are you?
I'm good. You're still wearing that Boston stuff there.
Listen, it's the off season now. I'm ready for free agency to be signed. We've got a lot of things going for the young Red Sox team. So yeah,
Okay.
it's an off season, but there's no off season for Red Sox fans.
Isn't it like time to be wearing something green for the Celtics or something?
Oh, that'll come. I got Bruins. Don't you worry. The Boston apparel is a year round thing in our household. So don't you worry. I
The
promise you.
minute you put on a Patriots jersey, though, done.
Well, it's
Close
funny
it
you
down.
bring that up because I was on I was on our friend's DraftKings site the other day, and there's lots of good prop bets like you and I've talked about. Obviously, plenty with the casino rooms, but my forte is a little bit more on the spreads and the lines here. And the Patriots again. This is not advice; it's just what I've done over on DraftKings. I mean, their record against the spread's pretty good. And Drake May, my friend, is the real deal. You've not heard it here first because everyone's jumped on the train, but I was there long before it. Last
I feel
year,
like
it was the
everybody's
struggle,
jumping on the bandwagon here.
and Mike Vrabel was sitting there not coaching, just, buying his time, ready to go, and it's back. So, look, we gave you guys a few years, and by you guys, I mean the rest of the NFL, and Tom Brady, rode off into the sunset, and Gronk rode off into the sunset, and, the rest of that core group, but it's back.
Okay.
We're
All right.
Kansas
Yeah,
City
moving on.
Kansas City's going off into the way the way out. Too much, maybe I don't know, I don't know what, I won't name names, but pop singers getting involved and, not focusing enough on the football fields. So, no, we love T Swift in this household, but yes, Patriots are back. Drake May is the real deal, and it's
Speaking of household, you've got a different background there because we're recording this, trying to get it out as we are also getting ready for the trip out to Vegas.
I was
So
gonna say it's
your
go time for you
background looks
guys.
different because yeah. So we're recording much later than we normally would, but yeah, we're recording nonetheless. So
Yeah,
we do have a
always.
hand
We're
of the
here for
week.
you guys.
That's right. We do have a hand of the week. It is sent in by Jerry Taylor.
Okay.
And Jerry is playing 1-3, no limit hold'em. He says, I have the effective stack with $465, and we are on the button.
Right.
Under the gun opens to $15, and it folds to us. We have, oh yeah, this is a good hand to start with. Ace of diamonds, queen of diamonds. And he says the under the gun player is a tight aggressive regular to the casino, and they don't typically get too out of line.
For the
The first
novices out there,
question
not
here.
not too out of line, meaning that they're not bluffing a whole lot. They're not playing a lot of, lower connectors, things like that, correct?
Right, not from under the gun for sure.
Yeah, for sure. Yes, from that position for sure.
Yeah. So do we fire a 3-bet, take the initiative, or are you flatting and playing it safe in position?
See, I
What
it's funny, you literally were just in my head. You know, that I'm in the
That's
I'm in the
scary.
I'm in the yeah, well, let me tell you, if we that's a whole another episode. Um, I think with the position, I think I'm just gonna play it safe. I'll call it, pretend it's reluctantly, and then we'll just, let the flop come on. That being said, there is absolutely nothing wrong with ace, queen of diamonds sitting on the button to 3-bet the man right out the gate. And if you take it down and he
Well,
doesn't wanna play, then so be it.
do you think that if we just call, that we're inviting, because we have the blinds still left to act.
That is
So are we
true.
inviting them in?
Probably. Oh, well, I mean, it's definitely asking for it, and, maybe you're okay with it, maybe you're not, but you're definitely allowing that to happen for sure.
And I feel like I'm trying to put a range here on our under the gun player somewhere in that pocket sevens or better range,
Yep.
ace jack or better, maybe king queen. We're ahead of a lot of that, right?
Yeah, ahead of quite a bit of it, especially with the flop still to come, but yeah, right now, we're ahead of a lot of it. I mean, you're right. King, queen's there. I mean, even from under the gun, I mean, queen, jack suited, possibly. Obviously, we have a queen, so it's a little less likely, but I mean, it's there. Definitely. I had 10, 9 or 10. I didn't go as low as 7 from under the gun, but, 9s, 10s, and above. So, yeah, you and I are right there. It would not hurt my feelings one bit to come over the top here.
My question, I guess, would be if they have a hand like ace king, something like that. Are they going to 4-bet us? Are they going to 4-bet us with those medium pocket pairs, nines,
Jerry
eights,
telling us that he's
seven?
tight aggressive, probably not, right? If we've got a read on him, but maybe.
Um, yeah,
I
I
mean, if
think
he's
with tight
tight, maybe he
aggressive they
wants
might,
they might,
but
yeah.
yeah. So I'm the balance is: do we want to do we somehow not bloat the pot too much and still be able to get away if we think they have aces, kings, queens, something like that. So
Yeah.
I am gonna raise.
Okay.
I'm gonna raise it $50.
Okay. What's our friend Jerry
Um,
do?
Jerry just makes the call, so he's in
Okay.
your camp,
He's in my camp. Alright.
and the blinds fold.
Well, there you
So
go. That works. Give us a heads
either
up.
way, either way, we were getting heads up.
Yep.
There is $34 in the pot, and the flop is the queen of spades, 9 of clubs, 4 of clubs. And our under the gun continues for $25
Okay. Ace king's a little less likely.
because
I continuing with well, yeah, in my
oh,
head
I'm continuing.
in my head, going back into that scary place. To me with queen of spades, 9 of clubs, 4 of clubs, definitely clubs, possibly that, the flush draw there. I'm putting it closer to, like, jacks, 10s. They've already got their pair, maybe even kings, to be honest with you.
Yeah,
So, I think we're still right there. I mean, we flop top pair. I think we're still well within
with
the
top
the
kicker.
yeah, with top kicker. We're definitely well within the range of, percentage-wise, probably still being ahead, potentially. So, playing Jerry's hands, I might push back now and see where we're at.
Okay, here's my thought.
Okay.
If we just call,
Yep.
we can keep worse hands in and still control the size of the pot, right?
True. Yep.
It also disguises our hand a little bit,
It does.
allowing them to continue to bluff later. The flip side of that is that this board could get pretty messy. There's 2 clubs out there. There's a lot of cards that can come and kill our action as well. You know, if they have jack 10, they're open-ended. I just feel like raising here might chase away all the hands that we beat, and we only end up getting action from hands that crush us and the flush draw, which if that hits, we only built the pot up for them.
Yeah, that is true.
So
Funny,
I'm good with just
you
calling.
and I had the raise on the you and I had a call raise opposite here.
Yeah, that's true. And it looks like Jerry continues to be in your camp.
All right.
What did you raise it to?
I didn't say. I was probably in that so they
So
bet
he made it
25?
25? Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, we gotta be probably in, what, 70 range?
Jerry goes 80.
Okay, we're pretty close.
And he says, top pair, top kicker, and I don't want to see a club, so I need to take control here.
It's literally like Jerry was in my mind.
Yeah, my problem with that is if they have the club draw, they're not folding. I don't feel like. If you raise here, they're not going to throw away their club draw after making the $25 bet. So we aren't really protecting against that. We're charging for it,
Yeah.
which is good, but we're not chasing them away from the flush.
Can you go big enough? If they're sitting on, king jack of clubs, is there a size and bet big enough to get them to go away? Probably not.
Not not that makes sense, I don't think.
No, I don't think so either.
I mean, if somebody shoved there, then I'm probably not calling, but I may call just because I'm like,
Kick rocks, dude.
you've gotta be trying to get me out of this hand, right?
Yeah.
But $80 is the bet. The under the gun makes the call.
Ooh,
So
okay.
there is 194 in the pot, and the turn is
Give
the
me
two
queen.
of diamonds.
Okay, well, not a club.
So the board is the queen of spades, 9 of clubs, 4 of clubs, 2 of diamonds, and
I'm just
now
gonna
our
take a
villain
stab and say
checks.
we get checked. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
I said it for I
Called that
got it
one.
in there right before you did, but you were right on it.
Did Jerry say what our effective stack was?
4 something. Hold on, let me see. 465 is what we started the hand with.
So we're in for a little over 100.
We made it 80 and 15,
Yeah.
so 95.
On the one hand, you could check back and keep the pot size.
Yeah.
However, if he is chasing a flush, I wanna make him pay for it, and if a club comes, then so be it. Because you're gonna catch a fold from some people here. I really
Okay.
if it's a flush, you still have top pair, you still have top kicker. There's not a straight on the board necessarily. Well, no, I mean, they could. I was gonna say straight possibility, not straight on the board. All you critics don't come out with me with language. Um, however, I'm not checking.
Okay. What are you betting?
125.
Okay. I had I had a number in my head too, a little bit close to the same. Here's my thought.
We're thinking a lot tonight. Maybe we should record later in the evening. We have a lot of thoughts at night.
A lot of thoughts. If this were a looser player,
Yeah.
I fire here after he checks without much of a thought. But this is a tighter player who's capable of, I don't know, check calling with a monster. So taking the free card is a consideration.
Yeah, it's definitely a consideration. It's one that I considered
Um,
against, but I think, yeah,
yeah, I'm with you though. I don't like the idea of giving a club draw a free card.
mhm.
Yeah, if we just check, I feel like we're missing some value too. If they have hands like, I don't know, queen jack, queen 10, jack 10 even.
We're forgetting
Um,
one that it didn't really dawn on me. I mean, it kind of popped in my head to start with, but then when you said check calling with a monster, nines are there.
Pocket nines?
Yeah, it's in the realm.
Yeah.
So
Here's what I'm gonna do. I'm I I'm gonna I'm going back and forth here. I'm either gonna check or I'm gonna bet big. There's no small bet here to me.
like pot size big.
3/4.
Okay. So like in that
Um,
150, 160 range.
that's where my number was
Okay.
original. But I also 125, 135. I can see that too. So, but I'm thinking 150.
Okay.
We'll go there. Let's see. Jerry calls yours exactly. Jerry bets 125. You and Jerry are on the same page.
He's a good guy, real smart, real big thinker
Villain tanks for a bit, then
and folds.
calls.
Oh, okay.
Now the pot is $444. And the river is the Queen of Hearts. So the board is Queen of Spades, 9 of Clubs, 4 of Clubs, 2 of Diamonds, Queen of Hearts.
And the only hand that I put in his realm that beats us is nines.
The villain checks again.
See, this is where I check. I think I check. I will have won enough for this hand with my queens. And if he's been just sitting on his monster off the flop and then just paired the board,
Yeah.
then I'm okay. I lose and I'm okay. I mean, I'm pissed, but I'm okay. And I check right back and make his skin crawl.
And then he's mad too because he
Yep.
missed value.
Yep.
What do we at? We only have something like, what, 200 or 250,
Yeah.
something like that.
Yeah.
Maybe a little less than 250.
Yeah, less than 250, a little over 200, I think. Which is still plenty to get back into the effective stack if you lose his hand. I'm checking.
Yeah, I feel like it's one of those rivers that come out and feels like a gift. Like
Yep.
you see that queen hit and you're so excited, and then you go, wait.
Yeah.
This feels
What
like
is
a
too good to be
trap.
true?
Maybe I've been playing online too long.
Yeah.
How many worse hands are gonna call if we bet?
I mean, pocket kings, pocket jacks, pocket tens, probably, maybe. I mean, you gotta think
Um,
he's probably making and he's making us on having a queen and or a top pocket pair of some sort.
you've got me thinking about those pocket nines for
Yeah.
sure.
You know why? Because you said the word
Um,
monster, and I'm like, "What monster?" And I'm like, "Oh, yeah, that monster." We'd have been better off with an ace.
we might be missing some value here, but I'm with you. I think the pot's big enough. 444. I'm happy to check
I
and
am.
take this down.
Yep. There's so many
Yeah.
pros to checking this.
Jerry says everything about the hand screams strength, but also indecision. He led the flop, then checked 2 streets. I knew checking behind might be the safe play, but I also hated leaving chips on the table with trips. So I shoved. My opponent snap called.
Nines.
It says, my heart sank. He rolled over the king of clubs, queen of clubs. Trips also with the flush draw that never got there.
Jerry, Hugh sandbagging. Well done, sir.
For a moment, I thought I was cooked, thinking maybe he slow played a set, but my ace queen was good and I scooped a big one. He says, I have an app on my phone that I record hands that I want to review later.
Oh, you
When I
gotta tell me
came
what
back
app
to
that
this
is.
one, there's a lot of them out there, but I'll ask him. I'll get back to him and ask what app he uses. But he says, when I came back to this one and remember how my heart sank when he snap called, I wondered if I was actually getting a little too greedy by putting it all in there, or would a check just have been missed value?
The answer is yes on both accounts. All of the
All
above.
around.
right? Listen, when you were
Yeah.
in school and you were doing a multiple choice test, you didn't know. You either chose C or all the above. Yeah, I think I, I think you're definitely losing a little bit of value there, but I think the pros, outweigh the cons of just checking because of everything we just said. If you check and he's got pocket nines and he takes you down, then you know what? You're making him second guess himself for not betting on either one of the last two streets, and you're getting out of there by saving yourself, a buyback in.
Yeah.
If you check and he pulls out, turns over ace, king of clubs like he did, then you know what? Yes, you look at missed value, but at the same time, you still took down a pretty good pot. So
Yeah. I think you have to be okay with the pot size no matter what. Whether
yeah,
win or lose, you have to be okay with that. But this is what makes poker so fun, right? It's this constant balancing act where it's like protect our chips, but don't miss value, you know?
yeah,
Um, sometimes even when you get it right, there's that voice in your head, did I push too hard? And that's why hands like this stick with you long after the cards are gone, right?
yeah,
I would say my bottom line is I played it conservatively and you played it aggressively. Like that's just if they had something like pocket nines, I would have saved a few $100. Then if they don't, like they didn't, then you look like a genius.
yeah,
So
yep. Look like
I,
an absolute genius.
I don't think it was greedy. I was thinking that if they had like busted draws, they wouldn't pay us off. I just didn't want to risk losing a hand to like nines or even queen nine.
Yeah,
Queen nine would have sucked too. So all things considered, I would call it aggressive, but not greedy.
yeah, I completely agree. And you're probably catching a when you shove there, if it doesn't happen to be king queen and him making his set, then you're probably catching a fold. So,
Yeah, which is why I thought the check would be better because it's only getting called by hands that beat you. W-
yeah,
I
or the
didn't feel like we were getting called by hands that were worse, but king queen
just
he
barely work.
had 1 pip less than us.
One boy, I like that. Jerry, great hand, bud.
Yeah, yeah, I love this. Thanks for sending that in. If anyone has a hand of the week that they would like to know how Patrick and I would break it down, send it to podcast@anteupmagazine.com. Patrick, let's do this again next week.
Count me in.
From the flop to the turn, we play it bold, chasing hearts and diamonds, never fold. In the booth, we're dealing stories that gleam. Poker legends rise on the 18.
With baseball season officially underway, I tend to think about some of the lessons I learned out on the field because baseball, kind of like poker, has a funny way of humbling you. One day that's always stuck with me, I remember I was struggling at the plate. It was just one of those games where nothing felt right. I was late on everything, guessing instead of reacting, and was getting more frustrated with every at bat. And I was being pretty hard on myself. And I remember my coach pulling me to a side, and he said something I've never forgotten. He said, "Baseball is a tough game to figure out. Some days you're going to feel great. You're going to be locked in. The ball looks like a beach ball and everything clicks. Then sometimes you're going to feel average. You're going to grind. You're going to rely on your fundamentals and battle through at bats. Then there are those other times where you're going to feel terrible. You're going to be lost, like nothing works. You can't buy a hit." He said the greatest players separate themselves in that last part. When they feel terrible, they don't give away at bats. They don't pout. They don't spiral. They find a way to help the team. Maybe it's drawing a walk. Maybe it's fouling off pitches. Maybe it's just staying in the box long enough to make the pitcher work. But they still compete. Now, fast forward to poker, right? And tell me that doesn't sound exactly like what we go through at the table. We just call it something different. We call it a downswing. We sit at the table wondering why nothing is working, why our reads feel off, why our hands don't hold, why every decision feels just a little harder than it should. And the mistake we make is that we expect to live in that top part of the realm all the time. We expect to always feel sharp and confident. But that's not poker. There are days when everything flows. You're seeing the game clearly, making great decisions, picking people apart, getting paid when you should, and it feels easy. Then there are days when you've got to grind, fold a lot, stay patient, trust your fundamentals. Nothing flashy, just solid poker. And then there are those other days when nothing feels right. Cards are cold, spots are uncomfortable, your confidence starts to slip a little. And just like baseball, that's where you separate yourself. Not by forcing action, not by trying to win it back, not by doing something outside of your own game, but by not giving anything away. You protect your stack. You stick to your process. You don't tilt off chips because you're frustrated. You don't abandon discipline because you're uncomfortable. Anyone can play well when they're in that first part. That's easy. That's fun. But the players who last, the players who actually win over time, are the ones who don't let a bad session turn into a bad week or a bad month. They don't let a downswing turn into a meltdown. They show up. They stay disciplined, even when it doesn't feel like it matters. So stop expecting to sit at the table and have everything clicking. Accept where you are. Control your attitude, control your effort, and compete with whatever the cards have in store for you that day. That is how you break out of a slump. And more importantly, that's how you win in poker over the long term. That's today's one outer, and that's today's show. I'll see you next week, A-Team. And until then, I'll see you at the tables.
The Ante Up Podcast is a production of anteupmagazine.com. Contact the show at podcasts@anteupmagazine.com or call the show at 540-339-7741. If you'd like to advertise, send an email to editor@anteupmagazine.com.